Thank you very much for clicking on this video. I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded in a while, but what can I say? I'm a lazy fuck. But anyways, without further ado, today we'll be talking about the Noble Knights. What's that? December? My bad. Today we're gonna talk about the Holy Knights, starring Adam Sandler. How to summarize Noble Knights in 3 sentences? Beautiful artwork, nice mythology, mad facts. Thanks for watching. Alright, let's get going with Noble Knights so that I can do some other stupid videos, shall we? Noble Knights are quite simple. There are 2 kinds, the Noble Knights and their equip spells. The so-called Noble Arms. The Noble Knights usually get effects when equipped with a Noble Arms card. They also change their type into Archetype as well as gain a level. Also, they are treated as normal monsters before equipped, and once per turn, whenever a Noble Arms card would be destroyed, you can re-equip it to whomever you'd like. I actually don't have a Noble Knights deck in Duel Links, but I do have one in real life, so I think I'm qualified to talk about this archetype. Usually I would first talk about the card with the lowest level, but with Noble Knights, considering they're pretty much all level 4, I'll do something else. Let's start with cards that actually gain effects when equipped with a Noble Arms card, starting with Noble Knight Gewaltjawad. Right at the bat, I don't want anyone making fun of my pronunciation of these. Anyways, Gewaltjawad is a level 4 light warrior with 1500 attack and 1800 defense, and his equip effect is you can target 1 Noble Knight monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and if you do, destroy 1 Noble Arms equip spell card you control. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Gewaltjawad once per turn. It's pretty much the warrior returning alive, but as a monster. It's good enough. He's actually the weakest Noble Knight attack-wise, but he is a good target for any of the Noble Arms cards, both for attack and defense. Also, keep in mind that his destruction of a Noble Arms card means nothing, since he can equip it to someone else to activate their effects, or to himself. So, he's good once you start to swarm the field. Alone though, he won't be the best with his attack. Play him if you have some way to protect him. Next up, we have Noble Knight Boards, a level 4 light warrior with 1700 attack and 900 defense. With the equip effect, this card becomes dark and its level is increased by 1. During your main phase, you can reveal 3 Noble Arms cards from your deck. Have your opponent randomly add one of them to your hand and send the rest to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Boards once per turn. It's definitely nice to get a free Noble Arms card, however, the cost is maybe a little bit too much. There aren't many cards that can re-equip cards once they are in the graveyard. Best I can think of is Swords at Dawn. And although deck thinning is nice, in most cases you pretty much throw away everything that makes this archetype work. There are better cards to search for Noble Arms cards than this one. I'll say skip him. Next is Noble Knight Peredur, a level 4 light warrior with 1900 attack and 300 defense. With the equip effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped with a Noble Arms equip spell card, target 1 Noble Arms card in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. Nice attack, bad effect, at least right now. In the TCG, Noble Knights is actually an XYZ and Synchro based deck, where this card's effect can come in quite handy to get at least an equip spell back. But in Duel Links, you won't ever see this effect come off when you need it. It will probably only activate when you're being steamrolled anyways, and 1 equip spell won't help. But it must be said that giving him Galatine for a 2900 beat stick makes for some stupid undeserved victories. Run him if you want the extra attack. Next, for the first super rare, Noble Knight Dristan, a level 4 light warrior with 1800 attack and 800 defense. While you control another Noble Knight monster, your opponent cannot target your monsters with less than 1800 attack except this card for attacks or with card effects. If a Noble Arms equip spell card is equipped to this card, target 1 face-up card on the field, destroy that target. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Dristan once per turn. Easily the second best Noble Knight. His destruction effect is something no other Noble Knight card has so far, so use it to its fullest advantage. His protection effect helps to keep Gewaltjawad as well as the best Noble Knight safe, which we'll get to in a second. Since he doesn't have any effect to destroy equipped Noble Knight cards, all Noble Arms cards eventually will reach him, so he may as well be your boss monster. Run as many as possible. Now for the actual definite best Noble Knight card in the game currently, the ultra rare Noble Knight Maedrod. Another level 4 light warrior type with 1700 attack and 1000 defense. His equip effect is This card becomes dark and its level is increased by 1. Once per turn, if you control no other monsters, you can special summon one Noble Knight monster from your deck in defense position, except Noble Knight Magerod. And if you do, destroy one equip spell you control. This card is good in almost every situation as long as your field isn't full. You can use it as a great comeback card to search for whatever cult advance you play, like Valchava, to get a card back with his effect, as well as having a 1800 defense wall on the field. It's also good to use in the beginning of the duel. For example, you could search for Dristan to protect Magerod, as well as get Dristan's effect to destroy one card off. Magerod helps pretty much all Noble Knights in every situation, and is a definite 3-off. This obviously makes his archetype a little bit more difficult to play, considering the best card is an ultra rare in a main box. It's a deserved ultra rare for sure though. It's weird that Magerod is the most useful one, considering that he is the one that ends up betraying and killing King Arthur in the actual King Arthur legend. Now speaking of, next card we have the card based on King Arthur himself, Noble Knight Artorius, a level 4 light warrior type normal monster with 1800 attack and 1800 defense. No effect.
You gotta be kidding me.
He's fucking useless. The only card that plays off of him is Avalon, which fucking sucks as well. So yes, the leader of the Noble Knights, the king himself, fucking sucks. I'm starting to get more and more sympathetic for Magerod the longer I look at Artorius.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Now, let's go over the Noble Knight monsters that don't gain new effects when equipped with equip spells. Firstly, we have Noble Knight Bedvure, a level 4 light warrior type with 1600 attack and 1500 defense. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one Noble Arms equip spell card from your deck to the graveyard. During either player's turn, you can target one Noble Arms equip spell card and one appropriate monster on the field. Equip that equip spell card to that appropriate monster. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. Pretty weak stats for a Noble Knight, but makes up for it with his effects. His first effect is pretty useless. As stated with boards, a Noble Arms card shouldn't land in the graveyard. However, you can use it well if you have the Swords at Dawn in your hand. His other effect though is really good. Re-equipping a Noble Arms card that's currently on the field, kind of like Ted of the Fickle in monster form. You can use him to give Dristan another shot at whatever is on the field, or you can use it to re-equip it to something else after Dristan has been hoarding it for a while. In my opinion, the third best Noble Knight, but save him until you get Dristan on the field. Next is Noble Knight Gawain. A level 4 light warrior type with 1900 attack and 500 defense. If you control a light normal monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. A little bit better now that synchros exist, however still not really viable except in non-Noble Knight decks. His attack stat is useless because he only has 500 defense. If you really want attack, play Peredur. For swarming, play our Holy King Magerod instead. Hey, don't look at me like that, that's not my fault, you suck. Lastly, we have Ignoble Knight of Black Lancelot. A level 5 Dark Warrior type with 2000 attack and 800 defense. Come on man, what the heck, we were so close to an entire level 4 Light Warrior archetype, and you had to go ahead and ruin it. Who do you think you are?
I, Jeremiah Gottwald, am Jeremiah Gottwald!
Anyways, his effect is, you can send one face-up light normal monster you control to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. You can tribute one Noble Knight monster, add one Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Ignoble Knight of Black Lancelot once per turn. You can only control one Ignoble Knight of Black Lancelot. Putting it simply, it tries to be the boss monster by special summoning itself, even from the graveyard. The bad thing is, it eats up all your resources just to slowly get stronger. Play him only if you build your deck entirely around him. But don't be surprised that you suddenly lose just because the opponent removed him from the field. He's kind of like Insect Queen. Too slow, no protection, and eats your resources up like crazy. By the way, when Noble Knights were first released in the trading card game, they were all released in a special rarity that lets them all appear a bit more darker in pictures. Want to see how this card looked back then? Yeah. I can see where the black and Black Lancelot came from, alright. those were all monsters, and I think it's easy to say that the best cards definitely were Noble Knight Maedrod, Tristan and Bedwyr. There are some others okay ones too, but probably not fit to be in an optimized deck. But I'm not judging fun decks, of course. Now, let's finally talk about the Noble Arms cards finally, shall we? In fact, let's talk about them all at once. There's Noble Arms Galatine, Noble Arms Caliburn, Noble Arms Aphrodite, and Noble Arms of Destiny. They all share the same effect, in which that, once per turn, if they would be destroyed, you can re-equip it back to a warrior type monster of your choice, as mentioned. Galatine gives your monster plus 1000 attack at the cost of it losing 200 attack during each of your standby phase. Kind of like Stimpak, but better. Especially since if you re-equip it by some means, then it's also reset back to 1000. Works really good with Bedwyr since you can also re-equip the card to someone else during the battle phase, essentially being able to give 2 monsters this card. Caliburn gives your monster 500 more attack, and once per turn you get 500 life points. A very safe card with no drawbacks, but also only weak power. Use it only if you really think you need the life points. Aphrodite lets you, once per turn, destroy a set card from your opponent. This can be a spell, trap or a monster, but the equipped monster loses 500 attack each time you activate the effect, meaning that this card is best used for someone that's currently in defense position, so that you don't really lose anything. The decrease also stays after Aphrodite gets destroyed, so keep that in mind. You can also use it to equip it to an opponent's monster if it so happens to be a warrior, and then decrease their attack while also destroying one of their set cards. And then when you run over the monster, you can re-equip it back to Europe monsters for a nice combo. Also, if you really want a silly deck, try out DNA Surgery with this card. Lastly, Destiny lets the equipped monster once per turn not be destroyed by battle or card effect. It's good, but only when combined with other Noble Arms cards. It's there to make your boss monster harder to get rid of. Keep in mind though that banishment does not count as destruction, so a simple DD Assailant or Amazoness Onslaught could ruin your day if you're not careful, as if Amazoness Onslaught wasn't cancerous enough. Out of the Noble Arms cards, Galatine and Aphrodite as well as Destiny are my personal favorites, in that order, but play yourself and see what you prefer. 2 more spells to go, starting with Last Chapter of the Noble Knights. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can target 1 Noble Arms equipped spell card and 1 appropriate Noble Knight monster in your graveyard. Special summon that monster, and if you do, equip that equipped spell card to that appropriate monster. You can only activate 1 Last Chapter of the Noble Knights per turn. It's basically a monster reborn that only works if your field is empty. Only use it if you don't have enough Maedrod and he happens to be in your graveyard. Not the best, but if Maedrod is in the graveyard, you can immediately use this effect to get Tristan again to start combos again. Maybe a one-off. Next we have Glory of the Noble Knights. Target 1 Noble Knight monster you control. Equip it with 1 equipped spell card from your deck that can equip to that target. You can only activate 1 Glory of the Noble Knights per turn. Run 3 and never anything less. It's a free searcher for whatever Noble Arms card you want. It's even a quick play spell, so you can also activate it when your opponent attacks, while you're still weaker, and then suddenly BAM! Switchblade! You can start effects like Maedrod much easier, and you can get the effect of Tristan off even in the opponent's turn. And so on. There are so many uses for this card, just because it's a quick play spell alone, it's great. And lastly, 1 singular trap, that being Avalon. Target 5 Noble Knight monsters in your graveyard, including at least 1 Artorias monster and at least 1 Lancelot monster. Banish those targets, and if you do, destroy all cards on the field. It needs way too much setup. It clears the entire field a la Black Rose Dragon, not just your opponent's, so whatever field you had at the time is gone too. It requires 2 cards you shouldn't be running anyways. Bad card, forget about this one. And those were all Noble Knight cards. I hope that gave you a better understanding of this archetype. This is usually where I will put my deck list, but I have none, since I don't have the deck. Just quickly a few cards that could maybe also be good for a Noble Knight deck. Night Day Greffa, once Gemini summoned, can search for an equipped card in the graveyard, meaning boars may have some use after all, as well as making Bedwyr even better. Double Cyclone and Release Restraint Wave can get rid of opponent's spell and traps for the cost of your own. And considering how noble arms cards work, you can just re-equip them while still getting rid of your opponent's cards. And Power Tool Dragon for being a very good searcher for equip spell cards. All in all, Noble Knights may not be the strongest archetype, but it's a very fun one to play around with, albeit a little bit expensive, what with Major being an ultra rare. But really, can you blame it for being an ultra rare? It's by far the best Noble Knight. Thank you very much for watching this video. Again, I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in a while, but stuff got in the way, and also, as I said, I'm a lazy fuck. But, well, before I leave off, I should probably do one more thing. Well then, what will the next archetype be? I entirely forgot they were a thing.